What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another page from the playbook. This is Nate coming at you guys. 32 NFL off seasons in 32 days. Yesterday, we talked about another AFC North team in the Cincinnati Bengals. Today, we're going to stay in the state of Ohio, and we're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns. Before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to give a special shout out to today's sponsors, starting with Gold Fine and Bowles, Lawyers for the Injured. Personal injury, workers' compensation, those are their two things, but any sort of legal advice, they're the people to call. Give them a phone call, 309-673-5144. Tell them we sent you, okay? And I'd also like to shout out SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video as well. Use promo code PlaybookSports on their website to get $20 off your first purchase of $30 or more. Let's get back to the video. So last year, let's talk about it, Browns. Many teams would fold if they lost their franchise quarterback. If they lost their starting quarterback day one, their quarterback who was the starter on day one, and you lose him, and you lose your star running back in Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs in the league, it'd be so easy just to say, pack it in, fellas. This isn't the year. It's not the year. But they held their heads up. They fought. That defense played unbelievably well, and Joe Flacco came in and absolutely diced it up. So you should be very proud as Browns fans of what your team did last year and the run to the playoffs that they made with old man Flacco running the team. Very impressive stuff by them and their coaching staff. Now, do we have questions about Deshaun Watson and his contract that he's definitely not lived up to? Of course there are. There are a ton of questions there. You know, we're a long way removed from the last time that this guy looked like a true franchise quarterback. So can he turn it around and make that contract at least seem reasonable? Have the Browns done enough to surround him with talent and keep him upright and keep this team going in order to continue just not only to make the playoffs, but start making some pushes? When you're paying someone that much money, you want to see more. So can they do that? Let's talk about what they've done this offseason to try and bring Cleveland back to relevancy. Coaching. Fired offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt and hired Ken Dorsey for the new offensive coordinator position. Honestly, I was a little bit surprised that they fired Van Pelt. They went 11-6 and last year, and they were missing Nick Chubb for almost the entire season, and the starting quarterback went down hurt, and you fired your OC? Are we sure? He made Joe Flacco look really damn good. I was shocked by that, and Buffalo fans couldn't get Ken Dorsey out of there fast enough. So I know Ken Dorsey played for Cleveland a long time ago, and it's fun, but at best, this is a lateral move. At best. If Ken Dorsey does the best work he's done as an OC, this is a lateral move in my opinion. So I don't totally understand it. I guess we'll see. He's an okay offensive coordinator. I just didn't love the move. Free agency. As far as losses go, not a ton here, which is impressive. Joe Flacco, really the only one of note. I will say for Mr. Joe Flacco, in his 5 games he started for them, he went 4-1 and averaged 323 passing yards a game. That's crazy. Those are fantastic statistics for Joe Flacco. I mean, man, good for him. But he's really the only loss, and we're going to stay kind of on the Joe Flacco note and just hop into the additions because they brought in quarterback Jameis Winston. He was added to be the backup quarterback. I was shocked by this. I understand that Jameis Winston is, significantly younger, like 9 years younger at least. But Flacco looked good last year. Unless he came to them and said, I want top backup quarterback money to stay, or if he told them, I don't want to play anymore, which I don't think he did, I don't understand going to Winston here. Flacco ran the offense very efficiently. Deshaun Watson's got an injury history, guys. You had a backup who came in and went 4-1 for you down the stretch. Did the home stretch to the playoffs. He came in and did what he does. And he called him off the couch and brought him in. And you said, nah, we don't want that. We want Jameis? Why? I don't understand that move. I really don't. He played as well as any backup quarterback could have ever hoped to play. So now we're just hoping that if Jameis Winston gets called upon to do that he can do that, because we don't know. So I didn't love that move, and I did love this move, though. Browns sending a 5th and 6th round pick in this year's draft to the Broncos to acquire wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. I still believe in Jerry Jeudy, guys. I still think he can be a number 1 receiver in this league, and he doesn't have to be here. He can be the number 2 behind Amari Cooper. It just gives him another very good option. Such a good route runner. He's only 25 years old. He was just drafted in 2020. I know they didn't want to pay him. Browns were like, we're happy to pay him and bring him in. I mean, look at the dysfunction he's had to deal with in Denver. Not that Cleveland isn't riddled with dysfunction, but the quarterback switches and the coaching changes and the bad coaching and just all the things that went wrong for Jerry Jeudy in his first 4 years in the NFL, I think he can step up and really be solid for Cleveland. So I love that move. And a 5th and 6th round pick, please. Psh,
take him. Don't even care. I like that they re-signed Zadarius Smith, brought him back. He was second on the team in sacks last year. Pretty cheap to bring him back. And then I also like their revamping of the linebacker room, bringing in Jordan Hicks kind of to be a vet leader on that defense, just another veteran guy that knows the game, been around a while. And then bringing in Devin Bush, also as a linebacker, who is more on the youthful side, still pretty young, former first-round pick, and they got him for pennies on the dollar. Cannot hate that move. And then Jim Schwartz defense, I trust them to get guys that are going to thrive in there. So I like those moves as well. So definitely a net positive free agency for the Cleveland Browns, who really just lost the backup quarterback, signed a lesser backup quarterback, but then also brought in a potential number one receiver, a stud edge rusher, and then a couple of starting linebackers. Very good free agency period for the Cleveland Browns. How'd they draft? Let's talk about it. Obviously, I think this was the last first-round pick that Cleveland didn't have as a result of the Deshaun Watson trade. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was it. So that has now been paid off. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because Houston, yeah. I'm pretty sure that was Cleveland's pick. So, second round, though, they took interior defensive lineman Michael Hall Jr. out of Ohio State. I love this pick. Super twitchy, defensive tackle, explosive as all get out. I think he needs to put a little bit of weight on, but he's actually got surprisingly good functional strength and functional power to play. I think he was better than several defensive tackles who were taken at the top of the second round, and they got him closer to the back of it. I had him as a clear-cut top 50 player in this class, and he fell just out of that to the Browns. I think they had pick 53 or 54, so I think that was a fantastic pick for them. And then I also like their next pick, Zach Zinter, interior offensive lineman out of Michigan. I really liked him throughout the process. He'll definitely not be relied on to start early in his career, considering they've got Joel Bitonio and they've got Wyatt Teller, so they're set at guard. So he's got a little bit of time to figure it out. He's a great backup option for them. Cleveland's got such a strong offensive line, and they have had for such a long time. And this just will kind of keep that rolling. Zinter feels like a Brown. That name fits in. I mean, is it the same number of letters? 6, and then Bitonio is 7, and Teller is 6. I know it matters not at all, but just saying. And then I did like Jamari Thrash out of Louisville. I thought that they got good value in him as well, just to kind of be another receiver, another good body in there. I liked his tape. He was kind of fun to watch, so I like that pick as well. It is hard to give this draft a sparkling grade. I like to give them a top grade for this draft class, strictly because they only had 6 picks. And honestly, I think Hall's the only one who has any sort of chance to play much this season. And you know me, I like players drafted to provide impact immediately. If I'm drafting you in the first 3 or 4 rounds, I need you to play right away. I really do. And Hall's the only one who's got a shot to play right away. So a lot of their picks definitely geared up towards the future. But at the same time, with only 6 picks, I think that they did well with those 6 picks. So for their draft grade, I'm giving them a solid B. Overall, this offseason, this all rides on Deshaun Watson, right? I mean, none of this matters if Deshaun Watson doesn't figure it out and start playing like a Pro Bowl caliber QB anymore. Not even just him staying healthy. I need to see Deshaun Watson from 2020 when he looked fantastic, or even just before that when he was awesome. But outside of Deshaun Watson, I like the moves that they're making. The Jerry Jeudy addition for a 5th and a 6th is slam dunk. Absolutely love that one. But have they done enough? Like I said about the Cincinnati Bengals yesterday, have Cleveland, have they done enough to keep pace with other teams in the North? And Steelers and Ravens, you know I loved what the Ravens did this offseason. They won 13 games last year. Yeah, they've got a tough schedule, but they won 13 games last year, and they unequivocally got better, or just as good this year. So they're going to be very, very solid. And when you are all in like they are, you cannot afford to fall behind in the AFC. They wasted all the cheap years on Deshaun Watson's contract. They are paying him $60+ million this year. That is a huge percentage of your cap space. Well over 20% of your cap space in one player who may be good, maybe, I don't know. Hard to build up the roster that way, hard to do a whole lot of splashy things, but I do like what they have done with the limited resources that they have. So, while I don't love their offseason, I don't hate it. So for the offseason for the Cleveland Browns, I am giving them a B-. That's all I've got for you guys on the Cleveland Browns offseason grades. Let me know what you disagree with. Let me know what you agreed with, thought I was on point with. Probably everything. And we'll see you guys in the next one.